I'm high on psilocybin, I'm drunk, I'm smoking pot. And she says, do you want to try some heroin? I said, how much? She says, $2, $2 bags, imagine this. And we get the 32 bus, okay? 40 people would get on at one stop. Beers, fucking smoking joints. You might as well hijack the bus. And there's a bench by the lockers that you would sit on and change your clothes. The works fell on the bench and somebody found them, a co-worker. And they handed me in. So now it's Friday night. I come into work Monday. They say, you're fucking out of here. You're fucking junky. So I'm in the building. I'm getting up near the top of the fucking line. And the next thing I know, the police are raided. They're coming from the basement. So I'm like, oh, shit.
And I am on the back porch of, I've wanted you to come on the show since probably the first time I heard you talk. But I didn't want to spook you. I didn't want to bother you. But then I realized I think I needed you. So welcome to the show, Johnny Mack.
I appreciate the kind words, and I'm happy to be here.
I want you to talk. I don't want to miss a fucking thing. You understand? Okay. I don't want to miss a fucking thing. And Johnny, I met at the beach by Bayport, and we're sitting on the Great Lake of Patchogue. I don't believe that's the real name. There's some swans. Johnny is smoking a American Spirit menthol. If I had a cigarette, do you think I would just start smoking again, John?
Absolutely.
So I can't have a cigarette.
No, it's all about the first one.
It's like, did you ever stop smoking?
For about a year. But I didn't smoke when I was younger. And then I picked it up, you know what I mean? You're shooting a bag of dope, so you got a cool cigarette and a bag of dope afterwards with a Tahitian treat.
What's a Tahitian treat?
It's a fruity drink that only the junkies used to drink when I was a kid. So I picked it up along the way. Never habit.
Alcohol drink or like a bodega can drink?
No. A soft drink, but just sweet enough to, you know, you get off and light up your cool, and then the next thing you know, you're being cool, you're sucking on a Tahitian treat, a little red sweet drink.
I never can sit with anybody that smokes and not think for a second that I could smoke. For a second, I think maybe I could. And if you said I could smoke, then maybe I really could smoke. But where did you grow up, John?
I was born on the west side of Manhattan, 98 in Amsterdam. The Puerto Ricans came in. The Irish moved out to Long Island or other parts of Queens, and Bainbridge Avenue in the Bronx is still an Irish stronghold. Woodside, Queens is a white Irish Catholic ghetto. That's where I was brought up.
You grew up in Woodside?
Yeah, and the thing about Woodside is they had 3 rules. What goes on in the house stays in the house. You can rob, but don't rob in the neighborhood. And we don't care what you're doing, but Monday morning you will go to work. And that was it. You're an upstanding citizen if you've done them.
There's some old bar in Woodside that makes really good cheeseburgers.
Oh, Donovan's Pub.
Yeah.
I remember Joe Donovan when he had to throw sawdust on the floors to cover the floors. Now it's like a thing for him, you know. He's long since, he's still around, but he doesn't have the business anymore, but it's still called Donovan's Pub.
Good cheeseburgers.
Good cheeseburgers.
When do you think the first time you got high was?
Oh, I can remember exactly. When you say get high, that means get off on heroin.
No, anything.
Anything?
The beginning.
Probably about 7th, 8th grade. Gonna get a 6-pack of beer. If I knew what I know now, if I knew it then, I would have considered myself an alcoholic, because the whole trick was to get a 6-pack of beer and find a guy who could only drink 2, so you would have 4.
Classic.
You know what I mean? Typical, you know, alcoholic thinking, addict thinking, whatever you want to call it. Typical behavior. I drank faster, I drank harder because I suffered from more. I want more. And it's funny because the first time I ever smoked a cigarette, I boffed. The first time I ever smoked a cigar, I boffed. The first time I picked up a beer, I threw up. The first time I squeezed off a bag of dope, I threw up. But I kept coming back. I should have known then. The shit's making you sick, but it's so alluring, and oh God, the flavor, the feel, the whole thing. I remember this guy telling me one day, it was common practice. I lived over in Woodside, and we'd go over to Brooklyn to wherever, and we'd cop over at Knickerbocker Park. So everybody didn't have to go in the car, but it was two guys you trusted, and they pick up everybody's money. And this guy goes, "Oh man," he says, one day I'm sitting in the house. He says, "Yeah, man, half the high is copping." I said, "Really?" I said, "Then get me an extra 2 bags and really get high." That was the worst thing in the world, was copping. I just wanted to be sitting on the toilet bowl, squeezing off. It went from the Tahitian tree to a can of Budweiser, 16 ounce, and that was heaven for me. Heaven on earth. I can't express how, the closest thing I can think, and I don't remember how I felt in my mother's womb, but it would be being in your mother's womb. Just in that sack.
Warm, safe.
Content, warm, safe. You name it, that's it. That was more important to me than sex.
When did the first bag show up?
The first bag?
Yeah.
I was out on Long Island in Wading River, and a couple of...
How old were you?
Probably 16, maybe 15, 16.
What were you doing out on Long Island?
We were out there partying for the weekend out in Wading River, Rocky Point area. That was like, we couldn't afford the Hampton Jet, or we didn't discover them. So we went out there, and there'd be 15, 20 of us, 4 or 5 car loads, sometimes more. And Arlene O'Connor was I was 15, she was 17. And a couple of friends came out from the city, and I'm high on psilocybin, I'm drunk, I'm smoking pot. And she says, "Do you want to try some heroin? My friends are out from the city." I said, "How much?" She says, $2, $2 bags. Imagine this. So she comes back to me and she says, "Listen, here's $1 back. They're scared you might OD." And they were right. That feeling just came over me. I fell off the toilet bowl. A guy hit me.
Some strange dude hit you with the needle.
Yeah.
First time, 16 years old. And you were tripping on mushrooms when it happened?
Yeah, psilocybin. It was sort of like a mushroom/acid thing, I guess. They came up with a new name for a new hallucinogenic that they made up in the chemist office, I guess. I don't know. But you didn't care as long as it got you out of yourself. And now that I think of it, it's no coincidence that it's wine and spirits, because that's what you were trying to do. You were trying to have that spiritual experience, whether you were drinking, smoking pot, doing speed, taking acid, doing heroin. You wanted that thing that took you out of yourself. And I'm lucky enough today to have that thing that took me out of myself, and it's called spirituality. The only thing I know about God is there is one, and I'm not it. Because when I play God, bad shit happens. When I try and conform to God's will, if you will, good shit happens. I mean, I was such a liar. The truth would have sufficed, and I would tell a lie to stay in practice, because I was used to doing it. It's a habit. And getting clean and sober is a habit too. I don't have to go to Flacco up in the South Bronx or Harlem or Brooklyn. I go to an AA meeting.
I don't think enough people talk about that we were seeking spirituality when we were using. You don't hear a lot of people talk about that.
Well, it's the truth, I wanted to feel that comfortability inside my own skin. And Alcoholics Anonymous was the last house on the block and the first thing that ever worked for me. I didn't find God in the 10 Commandments or the church. I found God in the 12 steps in the church basement. And that was a process. I was at a meeting the other day, and it was early on in the book, first 164 pages, where everything you need to know is. Everything after them 164 pages is just a drunkalog. Somebody's telling their story. And they were talking about spirituality. We read 2 paragraphs, mind you, out of the book. And no one had a white light experience in that room. And I'm going with people from 30 days to 30 years. They didn't have a white light experience, and no one could explain when and exactly what and when and what it is. They couldn't explain it. It's just that shift that comes over you. That's what I mean. You don't have to get God. God will get you. But you got to be stupid enough, like in my case, to not drink no matter what, join that club and come to these dumbass meetings. And God will get you. You will get that spiritual nourishment. You know, it's sort of like you have a plant. I'm sitting out here, I got all wildflowers. Some need the shade, some need the sun. They all need water. You got to nourish them. And that's what Alcoholics Anonymous does for me. It nourishes me. Now, you heard me many times. I'm very fond of saying, you know, if there's a sane person in this room, could you stand up? I'd like to see what one looks like. My friends are batshit crazy, but the fact that they know they're crazy allows them to do something about it, allows them to change with God's help. They can't change on their own. I mean, I couldn't change on my own. To be quite honest, the rooms are a power greater than myself. The best thing I do is drink and shoot dope. Collectively, we stay sober.
So you're 16 years old. The dude shoots you up in Wading River. You throw up, but you like how it feels.
Oh, the psilocybin goes out the window. Fucking goes out the window. But I'll tell you, I had another beer. And as soon as I drank it, I puked it up. But I loved that feeling. It was euphoric. It was something I've never experienced.
First time I did it, I puked also. And then I needed to puke to feel good. I wouldn't feel I really wanted to feel until I vomited. And then I found some sort of peace. Because the nausea would, I remember I used for years, and I would pull over and I'd just throw up outside of the car because, and then I'd be like, oh, I feel great now. You're 16 though, and you're like, I like how this is. How does your life change? You go back to Woodside and do you start looking for heroin?
No, I didn't chase it. It was that, you know, in my neighborhood, you could drink, but if you were shooting dope or using hard drugs, you were like, can't trust that guy. And, you know, it's that insanity. You know, you think, oh, I'm a functioning alcoholic. I'm a functioning addict. The truth be told, I had to go to work so I could rob them in work to support my habit. Never mind my paycheck. I'm robbing. I'm taking Mongo. I'm beating them for time, you know. I'm on my lunch break, and it goes from an hour to an hour and a half because I'm taking the train at 59th Street to beat it back over to Harlem and then back in time to squeeze off and not have no lunch. Just, you know, it's the rapacious creditor.
Walk us through becoming addicted to heroin when you're a kid. Like, what's it like? If you did it the first time, you come home, you know there's a stigma to doing heroin in Woodside, so you don't really want the neighborhood to know. So how do you start finding it? Who do you start using with? And what's your life like?
You know, I'm an Irish Catholic. If I go down to Puerto Rico and get a tan in the first 10 days, they start speaking Spanish to me. Most people take me to be an Italian because of the way I act. So I stayed with the drinkers and the collegiate guys, but I was with the hippies and the get high guys. And then we had the junkies that, man, this is a program of attraction. Well, so's heroin. The guy's 23, 24 years old. He's in La La Land. He's not working. He's got nice clothes on. You know, I don't know what he's doing to get his money, but that's who I aspired to be. You know, I remember when I used to hope I'd get a union job and be in the bar at 7:30 in the morning, having a ball and a beer. And then I got that, and I realized, oh, this shit is fucking me up. And it was the same course with heroin. You know, you just don't turn into a junkie at the snap of a finger. It's a process. And getting high is a process. And getting sober is a process.
How long did it take to get a habit?
Let me put it to you this way. I'm 74 years old. The Vietnam conflict is on. They're between the first Tet Offensive and the second Tet Offensive. I'm 18 and a half, and I go down to the draft board. And the draft board tells me, oh, we don't want you.
What did you do to get out of the draft?
I didn't do anything, but I was shooting junk.
And they knew?
And they saw it.
How did they see? They see your arms?
You know, do you use, I said, yeah. What do you use, cocaine? No, that's a rich man's high. I said, I shoot heroin. Next thing I know, psych is fucking signing my papers and sergeant's telling me military obligation to the United States Armed Forces is hereby fulfilled. And know this, all they wanted was a warm body. I wasn't even good for that. They were so scared of it. They saw shit that I didn't realize yet. I'm not going to realize for another 30 years. I'm a late bloomer. I came in here, I was closer to 50 than I was. I think I was 47 when I came in here. 48 maybe. You know, I look at it this way. You know, this God that I don't understand but understands me would give me an ass beating, drive me to Alcoholics Anonymous. I'd get it tuned up. Oh, I think I know something. I would go back out there and he'd kick my ass again. I wouldn't trade anything, not losing my mom at an early age, not knowing who my biological father is. I wouldn't change anything. And I'm actually happy that my mom didn't see what a piece of shit I turned into. Somebody was talking about mothers and the woman jumped on the bandwagon in a meeting and a guy jumped on and tears started to come to my eyes. And they were tears of gratitude that she didn't have to see what her little boy became, you know? And I have, I have great appreciation for every man and woman, you know, a father figure or a mother figure that was put in my life, whether it was a baseball coach, a priest, one of the old men on the block. They just, you know, they didn't tell me what to do. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm a little boy. I'm 4 or 5 years old. I'm with my grandfather, who's as big as life. We're on the subway. He doesn't tell me get up and give this woman a seat. He gets up. Oh, shit. You know, they showed me by example. The same thing in AA. You know, I had to see to believe. And then somebody turned it around on me and says, no, you had to believe to see. It's sort of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's a paradox. Did I see to believe or did I believe to see? You know, it's
no, I get it.
Shit.
Know
what I mean?
The same thing happened to me and I didn't expect it to happen at all. I'm dying to hear the Junkie Chronicles of Johnny Mack before we get to everything that saved your life. Tell us about it. Please help me. Because I know there's a store, I mean, like $2 bags, giving you one to not OD, fucking Woodside during Vietnam, hippies, junkies in New York City. Give me a good old story. Tell me what happened to you.
Okay, I'm on the south side in Brooklyn where you cop dope and there's a firehouse next door and you go into this vacant tenement. And it's 2 floors. You got to get up near the roof landing in order to get them to sell to you, right? So make a long story short.
Hold up. You stop the phone because I don't want to lose this.
Make a long story short.
No, make it long. I want to hear the whole story.
Okay. So I'm in the building. I'm getting up near the top of the fucking line. And the next thing I know, the police are raiding the place. They're coming from the roof. They're coming from the basement. So I'm like, oh, shit. So typical New York City cops back in the day, the guy got his name tag. Let's just say his name is O'Malley. And he's a sergeant. So I see his name tag. I start to walk back down. I get to the second floor. The cop says, hey, so what are you doing? I said, Sergeant O'Malley told me to get out of here. So he gives me a kick in the ass, and I go down to the first floor. And the guy goes, where the fuck do you think you're going? I said, well, Sergeant O'Malley told me to get out of here. He does the same thing as the other cop, gives me a kick in the ass and boots me out the door. Now I'm thinking I'm sharp. You know what I mean? Stupid shit like this. Drunks and junkies aren't stupid. They can. But what makes them stupid is there's only two things I do in my head. I produce bullshit and I buy bullshit. But since I've come to AA, I produce less bullshit, hence I buy less bullshit. The only one who can bullshit me in any AA meeting is me. Am I in there just dotting the I's and crossing the T's? Or am I really present in the meeting? Am I listening? Did I say my mother jumping prayers this morning? Or did I really say them? Am I practicing these principles in all my affairs? Or am I just when it suits me?
What do you say in the morning for your morning mother jumping prayers?
I'm very simple. I wake up in the morning. God knows everything, all right? I open my eyes. I close them. I don't even move my mouth. My eyes are closed. I just think to myself, thank you, I love you, I need you. I don't even use the God word. And then I get out of bed. The next thing you know, the coffee's being made. I'm smoking a cigarette. Oh, my ride's going to get me in 15, and I'm at a meeting. So by that simple action and the practice of that, my life got better. Now, do you think I believe this happy bullshit? Say your prayers. And then my sponsors I'm telling my sponsor, I hate this fucking guy. And he tells me, pray for him. So I would pray for the guy. I would just pray that he got his heavenly rewards a little faster than later, sooner than later. And then I started praying for the guy, hey, I'm as sick as him. Who am I to judge one of God's creations? And that's what I do. Now, I'm not perfect at not doing it, but I'm much better at it than before. Before was, look at this fucking scumbag.
Well, one of my favorite things I ever heard you say is it doesn't even matter what you're praying to. It doesn't even matter if you're praying to anything. It's the asking that matters.
You're the action department and God's the results. Now, how do I know? Always people say, oh, do the next right thing. Well, if I knew who was going to win the 5th race at Aqueduct, I'd fucking bet him, wouldn't I? I don't know till I take the action. I'm the action department and God's the results. And now more important than God is faith. You have to have faith. Okay, you make all the right moves. You did everything. And you don't get what you want. Then you have to have blind faith that God knows what's better for you than you know for yourself. Now, that's a big stretch for a guy like me. I made all the moves. What are you doing to me? Now, he don't come to me in a booming voice, but because I don't drink and I go to meetings and I say my mother jumping prayers and I help another alcoholic and I try and practice these principles in all my affairs, it doesn't upset me. It does, but not like it used to. I can't tell you, oh yeah, I didn't get to corner office. I'm fucking happy, joyous, and free. Now I'm pissed off, but I have faith. God knows what's good for me. I don't even have to know for myself. God knows better than me. God made that guy that pissed me off to teach me a lesson. Now it's my job to learn that lesson or not. You know, I'm always fond of saying, you know, people say, oh, let go and let God. Well, if you don't get that, do you get let go or get dragged, motherfucker? If I was out on this lake and I'm on a motorboat and I'm water skiing and I fall down, I can hang on and survive, or I can let go and live. See, I'm my own worst enemy. I'm constantly holding on to bullshit, and I know I should just let it go.
No,
Whether it's a resentment, fear, anger, oh, I didn't get what I want, I'm a little bitch boy today. Come on, you asshole.
No, I'm in that right now. But when you were young, what did you do for work?
Oh, I done everything. I was a teamster. I was a stagehand. I was a bartender. I was a groundsman at big 6 towers on Queens Boulevard, 15 acres, and I was the head groundsman.
And through it all, were you on heroin?
I'd say about 80% of the time. And I was definitely on alcohol.
At what point are you like, I'm not going to not do this? Like, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do.
Man, I had to get my ass kicked a couple of times by God, and then a couple more.
I don't mean being sober. I mean being on it. Like because I remember when I was a kid, I would try not to do it because I didn't want to get a habit. And then
that's the disease. You tell yourself, I'm not going to do it, and then you find yourself doing it because it's become a habit, just like AA has become a habit. But AA is a good habit. It's where I learn not to take myself too serious because no one else does. It's where I learn all the sing-song sayings. I'll put a pitch in for them sing-song sayings. They're the handrails or the banisters to the steps and the traditions. Live and let live. Easy does it. This too shall pass. Let go and let God. Easy does it. Does it have to be said by me? Does it even have to be said at all? I mean, you know that old saying, would you rather be right or happy? At one point in my life, I wasn't happy unless I was fucking right. And I'd make shit up to make myself seem like I was right and believe it and have the other poor bastard believe it. Now, I just want to be happy, you know? But it's like everybody chases that first one, that first hit on the stem of the pipe, that first bag of dope, that first sniff of coke, that first shot of beer, that first shot of whiskey. It worked, but it don't work anymore. So why am I chasing this? You know? Why? When I can just surrender and I win.
At what point do you know that you need to stop? Like, what does it take to get to the point where you need to stop?
I'll tell you. I'm in work and I got a work shirt on and my apparatos or my works are in my top pocket. And I'm in such a rush to get off at that midnight from 4 to 12 to go uptown that I don't even unbutton my shirt. I just pull it over my head to put on my fucking street clothes. And there's a bench that you used to get by the lockers that you would sit on and change your clothes. The works fell on the bench and somebody found them, a co-worker, and they handed me in. So now it's Friday night. I come into work Monday. They say, you're fucking out of here. You're a fucking junkie. So my union reached out to me and told me, listen, while you still got coverage, we're going to send you to Veritas Villa. And up in Veritas Villa, I wasn't the best student. I remember it was going to be family day where they do an intervention. So my wife and kid were coming up. I haven't seen them in over 2 weeks. I'm very happy. And I call somebody a fat fuck, a counselor or some shit, you know.
That's like a therapeutic community, Veritas Village, right?
Veritas Villa was more 12-step oriented, I think, you know. And they brought in meetings, but it was intense. And the first 2 weeks, I fought them tooth and nail. So the guy who ran the place brings me in and he says to me, so Mack, how you doing? He says, you know, I can't have your wife and kid come up here for family orientation because look at you. He says, let me ask you a question. Are you a scumbag or a real scumbag? And I sat there, you know, I go, yeah. I says, I'm a scumbag. He goes, that's what I thought. So you got to change. So in the next few days, I changed so much, they allowed that visit.
How did you change?
Instead of fighting and being reluctant, I guess I would surrender for lack of any other word. I surrendered. Like my will ain't doing nothing. It's like taking a handful of X-Lax and willing yourself not to shit your pants. It's not happening. So willpower doesn't work. Stupidity works in this program. Just be stupid enough not to pick up the first one and go to these meetings. You don't have to get God. God will get you. You get sober when you get sober. You get the steps when you get the steps. You can only do this a day at a time. That's why I laugh at meetings. Oh, does anybody want a 24-hour chip? Buy the fucking room one on me. Because that's all anybody has. But some sometimes, and I'm guilty myself, I think I know something. And that's when I'm really in trouble. The one thing I do know is I don't know.
No, that's like my favorite thing about program. Totally my favorite thing. I feel like one time you mentioned to me about some crazy heroin deal in Puerto Rico and some huge thing. Do I remember this right?
Well, everybody knows La Pearl is the worst neighborhood in the world down there.
I don't know anything.
Oh, it is the worst.
What's it called?
La Perla.
Okay. In Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico. So.
How old were you the first time you went to Puerto Rico?
I was probably mid-30s. And I've been going there since then.
And you were using?
Drinking and drugging down there.
Is there a lot of dope in Puerto Rico?
There's no dope anywhere in the United States. And that's part of the United States. This fentanyl's killing you.
I mean then.
Oh, then they had good dope, but I brought my own down there. I'm so crazy, I brought acid to South America, to Ecuador.
Well, tell us that story, and then we're going to get to Puerto Rico, please.
Nixon's the president.
Uh-huh.
I fly out. I'm with a model, and I'm with a guy that I grew up with from when he moved from Ecuador. So I got an insider's view. And we go down there, and it's like crazy because coke is rampant, and I got 100 tabs of acid. And these coke dealers down there never did acid in their life. I got them falling over one another within a week, trying to get what I have in exchange for what they have.
So were you selling a bunch of acid at that point?
Yeah, well, I brought 100 hits down there with me.
Were you doing a lot of acid? I used to sell. Acid was the one drug I could sell and actually do well with.
I actually shot acid.
What was that?
Oh, God. I'm probably around 20. And, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. So I squeeze off.
How do you take a dose, a paper dose, and put it into water?
And you cold shake it, bring it up and down, and that lets it soak off of the paper or the cube or whatever it is. You don't crush nothing up, but you just... So, long story short...
I don't mean to keep pushing you. I just don't want to miss a fucking thing.
So, I squeeze off. Now, if anybody out there knows how to squeeze off, you're doing heroin, you're doing coke, you shoot it, you pull back, you give yourself another shot. Well, when I pulled back to get the other shot, my blood was blue. I just took the works out, didn't clean them, put them in the top drawer, had an out-of-body experience. I'm here, but I'm up there looking down at myself. I said, oh, this shit is fucking good,
How fast does it hit you when you shoot it?
Boom. Because it's cut with speed and,
strychnine, whatever.
Whatever's in there.
Yeah.
You know what? You got to remember, they're making this shit in a fucking lab. This is back in the day, early 70s.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did acid, a guy came back from fucking Stony Brook. I thought he was a guru who was on a sugar cube. The fuck? That's what Tim Leary does? Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to be careful with this.
Did you take a ton of acid in the 70s?
Oh, yeah.
Did you love acid?
I loved acid.
And was there a lot of acid and heroin at the same time?
No, acid. Heroin doesn't really come in and become an addiction till later on.
When does it come in?
Well,
this is the stuff I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know the secret history of Johnny Mack. You're a crazy acid head in the 70s. Like you're hanging out with a bunch of hippies. Like who are you tripping with?
Oh, I was. Yeah. The centerfold of the New York News has my boy Ray Callahan in Bethesda Fountain with the rowboats in the fountain. People are all up and down on the fountain and Ray's at the top. Oh, I think he was high on acid that day. You know what I mean? That's the centerfold of the news that day, showing you how the fucking country's going to hell in a handbasket. But that was a lot of fun back there. See, that brings me to something. People say, oh, my best day in
out there is my worst
day in AA is better than my best day out there. What the fuck were you doing? I had great days. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
That kind of stuff, I think, undoes program for a lot of people.
you're walking and the streets in New York are there, and you're seeing they're glittering.
Yeah.
They're literally glittering. And you're with a handful of babes, and your boys are behind you, and you're holding court. Come on.
Best of times.
Can of beer. Oh, we're going to stop at this bar, go to Central Park, Schaefer concerts. You know, I'd leave my neighborhood, and we'd get the 32 bus, okay? 40 people would get on at one stop. Beers, fucking smoking joints. You might as well hijack the bus. Nobody else is getting on that bus, and the people that were on there, they want to get the fuck off as fast as they can.
Yes.
And that dropped me over the 59th Street Bridge. I walk into the park. Look how sharp I am. I'm selling Heinekens for $3, pints of Bud for a deuce.
Who would you see? What kind of shows would you see back then?
Oh man, you've seen everybody there. B.B. King, shit. It wasn't a Schaefer festival, but Simon and Garfunkel reunion, Chambers Brothers, Sly and the Family Stone,
Yeah.
Richie Havens. I mean,
so in the 70s, you're basically like a happy-go-lucky Queens guy, fucking mixing it up with the hippies, taking acid, dealing acid. You bring
working in the city.
Why do you bring 100 doses to Ecuador though?
Because it was easy to smuggle in, and I know them motherfuckers never had it.
So who are you gonna sell 100 doses in Ecuador to?
Oh Jesus! Once you give a couple to a couple of people, that's an investment. They go and tell everybody. Now you got coke dealers willing to exchange coke for fucking next to nothing for a couple of hits that you paid $1.50 for.
What made you think to go to Ecuador in the first place?
It was a friend I grew up with. When he moved here when he was 5 years old, he was going back. I just happened to hit a nice horse for a few grand, you know, few grand being a couple grand, 25, 2,700. Shit was much cheaper then.
Sure.
The woman I was with was 6-7 years younger than me. I'm 23, she's 16 or 17. Her father is a big shot in the airline. She's flying for free. I'm on American. I'm not flying for free, but I'm moving up to first class. You know what I mean? Oh, it just all fell into place.
So so you get to Ecuador, how do you plug into Ecuadorian coke dealers who want your acid? And where did you get the sheet from?
Oh, let me tell you. Now, they call over here, it's bazooka. It's basura, which means garbage. So Ecuador was a big spot to cut cocaine for the Colombian cartels. So it was there. And they called it basura or bazooka because you couldn't sell it to sniff it or to shoot it. It wasn't pure enough, but there was enough coke in there that you could smoke it. So it's me and my friend Sheila, and we're in a flatbed truck, 3 people across, like a Toyota, you know, something small, not like a fucking Chevy or something with a Hemi in it, you know what I mean? And I gave the guy $20 to get me some coke. So he comes back and he hands me 2 glassine envelopes. I get a matchbook, I take a hit, I go, I'm going to kill this fucking guy. He don't understand the word of English. So he goes, no, Poppy, no.
Because you thought it was garbage when you sniffed it.
Yeah, when I sniffed it. He goes, no. Now I see him emptying out a cigarette, and he's starting to put it in and mix it with the tobacco. So I'll look at him. I go, what the fuck is this to myself? So he passes the joint to me. The woman's sitting in the middle. I take a hit, just like he did. Hold it in, and I told him, Potter, you got to stop. I had to get out of the car. I heaved. I had to do deep knee bends. The shit came on that fast. And when I tell you it was like, it was the cheapest thing in the world there. The same guy, I give him fucking $40 and tell him to get me some real coke. So he comes into the house and he walks into the living room and he goes, walk towards me. And he has one of them perfume fucking sprays like your grandmother used to have.
Yeah.
And he sprays a mist on me with vanilla mixed in with it.
With the coke.
and I walk into this mist. Now my head is frozen, my nose is frozen,
Wow.
I'm high as a motherfucker. This guy had ways to do coke I never seen in my life.
Before or after?
You know,
No one's spritzing coke in the 70s in America.
and now you got to see the sticky substances on you. So the coke is fucking good shit. It's freezing your whole fucking body. I didn't have a bald head then, so you know, I had to fix the hair.
Right. Did you love the coke at that point?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I stopped shooting coke. I'm a junkie, right? So we do speedballs. So we have a bunch of coke, and my boy Ralph goes out on the coke. So I know how to handle a heroin overdose. You know what I mean? I put some ice on his balls. I get him in the shower. I start the coke. I don't know. I made a promise with God. I said, if this motherfucker comes around, I'll never use coke again. And that's the last time I used it. Did I deal it? Yeah, but I never used it again. You know, there's something in
Hold on, because the dude overdosed on coke in front of you?
He overdosed, and I didn't know how to get him. And
So what did you do?
Get him to come. I asked God, listen, I won't use coke again if you bring this fuck back to life.
And he did. He didn't
and
die.
He did. And I kept my word. He did his thing, did his little dance up there. And that guy's still one of my best friends. And the other guy, I got a story about that. Terry's dying of the AIDS virus. He's a dope shooter. He's the guy who taught me how to drink cheap vodka. Cheap vodka. I mean cheap fucking rat gut vodka. You could tell where we were in the neighborhood because there'd be a small little juicy juice drink that cost 25 cents then and an empty pint bottle of fucking vodka. There'd only be a mouthful out of it. Between the two of us, the pint bottle would be empty. We'd go from stoop to stoop. You could tell, you could track us by that. You know what I mean? So I go up to see Terry in Elmhurst Hospital. He's fucking dying. I mean, he should be dead. Now he's hooked up, and I says, Terry, what's the story here? You know, how you feel? He says, oh, I'm not gonna fucking make it. I said, what can I do for you? He says, I want to smoke a cigarette. It's really, now it's Elmhurst Hospital. So we get him, and he's attached, you know, he's got one of them ones in case he flatlines, he's got an IV. We get him to the bathroom. Like, I give a fuck if the authorities come in or the nurse throws us out. The guy's dying, he wants a cigarette. So we get him the fucking cigarette. And he smokes it down to the filter. Terry, I'll throw you in the toilet bowl. Throw that away. I'll give you another one. And he's going, so we get him back in the bed. I leave him 2 cigarettes and a fucking Bic lighter. We go downstairs. We run into his father, Mr. D, Mr. Doherty. And it's me and Ralphie. And I go, Mr. D, how you doing? He says, fine. He says, you didn't give Terry a cigarette, did you? Oh, no, not us. You know, and we walk out. The next day, my telephone rings. It's his girlfriend. She goes, hey, McDermott, I hope you and DeMarco are fucking happy. That cigarette killed Terry. Now, she's only goofing because she's a neighborhood girl. But if you're ever going to get a fucking death notice, that's the way to do it. Have me laughing at the same time. You know what I mean? So now, fast forward a couple of days later, we're at the wake.
It did kill him.
He did die.
Okay.
The next day.
Oh, my God.
And she's telling me in her inevitable way, that cigarette you and DeMarco gave him killed him, you fuck. So now fast forward a couple of days later, I'm at the wake. It's a fucking Irish wake. Everybody's in the fucking bar, but you got to pay some respects at some time. So I'm talking there. Here's Mr. D comes and makes a beeline over to us. Ralph goes, oh, shit. And he goes white in his face. Mr. Doherty comes over. He says, I want to thank you, boys. He reaches in his pocket. He's got a full pack of Marlboros, but he couldn't give them to his son. He knew that's what the son wanted. So that's that story. I can't make shit up like this. You know.
That's amazing, though.
Life is fucking stranger than fiction. I see shit. You know, when I was a kid, I used to read Dick Tracy. He's got a watch and he's talking into it. Oh, well, we got a watch and we're talking into it. You know, oh, going to put a man on the moon. They put a man on the moon. You know what I mean? You're going to be sober. Ooh. That's even past the moon. That's in heavens. That's in God's world that he does his little dance.
So the first thing that you really sold was acid. At what point do you start selling coke?
I grew up in Woodside, And Corona in Jackson Heights was a 10, 15-minute walk. And I can mix in with anybody. I don't know why people like me.
You're very likable.
And so it was an easy fill-in, you know what I mean? I used to have my friend Georgie C., right? His old man owned the building, 6 apartments, fucking railroad flats. And I didn't understand what the fuck, how did they get all this money? So Georgie starts going to the Cheetah, the Electric Circus, he's dealing coke. So he gets deported. I swear to God, he gets deported on Sunday, Saturday into Sunday. Thursday, he's back in the States. That's how up the scale his old man was and he was. You know what I mean? I can remember Georgie coming over to the house. He's got a fucking softball rock of fucking coke.
Say it again.
He's got a softball rock of coke. And by the time me and him finish with it, it's a golf ball. And I got to throw him out of the house because I know this fucker's going to kill me. From a softball to the size of a fucking golf ball. George, you got to go. You're fucking killing me.
You're not going to live through this. And through the coke, are you still doing the heroin, or when do you shift from acid head, good time person to straight up New York City junkie?
Well, my neighborhood, you were a fucking garbage head. You done a little of this, a little of that. You know what I mean? And then, as I said, lady, you know, the heroin is like, I can't explain it. You know what I mean?
It's like milk.
I can't even explain it. It just, you know, if something's going to stop this motherfucker from getting laid, it's not going to be a fucking army. It's going to be a fucking bag of heroin. And when I get heroin, I don't want to get laid because I don't want you, you know, bugging my head. Oh, I'm so good. I mean, I used to do shit that was so good. I'd be in a nod, dreaming, and somebody'd be talking to me, and I'd go, oh, yeah. And I'd wake myself up out of the nod. And my wife, that fuck. I got a small daughter. I'd be on a nod on the couch, and she'd send my daughter over. I'd be nodding, and the daughter would come over. and I'd come out of it, and she would be like, that's what she was sending the kid over there for, to annoy me.
Right.
You know? I can remember ODing. I got $10 in my pocket. I OD. Here's the story. The cops come. I'm dead. She's giving me fucking mouth to mouth, punching my fucking chest. The ambulance
The
gets
wife
there.
or the daughter?
The wife. My daughter's only an infant. And this shit killed me. And the cop comes in. I'm in the bathroom. They hit me with the Narcan. I'm fucking puking in the bathtub. I'm shitting in the fucking toilet. I'm fucked up. And it's taking my high away, and I'm pissed. The cop goes, listen, you're going to the hospital. I said, I ain't going to the hospital. He says, let me put it to you this way. He says, I'll search this bathroom. I know I'm going to find dope. You're going to go to jail. So hospital or jail? Smart guy I am, hospital. I get up the next day, they let me out. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a Sunday, and it's Gay Pride Day in Jackson Heights. And the fucking streets are fucking pumping at 10 in the morning. I got $10. I walk over to a stand that's making margaritas or some shit. I go, you got booze? Yeah. I said, well, give me $10 worth. Puts it in a cup. No, I don't want nothing in it. I walk home 30 blocks. I get home, the wife's reading me the riot act, right? This, that, the other, I saved your life. And I'm going to myself, will you just shut the fuck up and slam the door? Because I got 2 bags of the shit that killed me less than 24 hours ago. The cop was right.
Why did you get the booze? Just to make it home and feel okay?
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? Instead of taking a cab or even jumping the train,
drank and walked.
I need instant gratification.
Yeah.
I know there's 2 bags at home, so I can just saunter home, and I know what I'm going to face at home is going to be a fucking irate wife. You know, the kid don't know no better. She's so small, so that's okay. But I couldn't wait for her to shut the fuck up because I got 2 bags of the shit that killed me the night before. That was my best thinking.
At what point do you start going to Puerto Rico?
my old man touted me on to Puerto Rico, and he was a street guy. He was a bartender, and he worked all the top shelf places for Restaurant Associates, Charlie O's, the Fell Form, Four Seasons, Jimmy's. He opened these places up, and he was well connected. And he told me, you got to go to Puerto Rico. He loved golf, and he loved his drink. I said, what the fuck I want to go there for? He says, I'm going to tell you why. He says, don't act too stupid. But fiddle in your wallet over by the fucking check-in, and when you get a guy's name and room number, just sign his name and his room number to everything you do in that hotel, and then move a few blocks down the road to the next fucking hotel. So that's a good idea. So I went with an Irish barmaid.
Uh-huh.
We went down there. She'd get a load on. She'd be asleep at night, and the Pan Am games were down there. It was 79, I think.
And you went down there with a pocket full of heroin?
Yeah.
And just in your pocket for the plane?
It was much different. You know, we didn't have
all this shit. Yeah.
Everything we have now. You could travel with fucking pot then if, you know.
How much do you think you brought with you?
Probably a bundle, couple of half loads, 30 bags or so.
Because you're going to need to make it. You're going to need to make it through the time.
See,
you're down there.
That's the beauty of this AA bullshit. I got the Hep C, all right? So I had to give myself injections. Now I'm clean and sober, but I can literally bring a fucking set of works on the plane with me.
Without a problem.
Paperwork and everything. That would have been a life beyond my wildest dreams. It's like PBA cards, Policemen's Benevolent Association.
Sure.
When I needed it, nobody would give me one. Now I got them coming out.
You don't need it. You don't need it. Yeah, exactly.
My free, you know.
But that's exactly how it works. I once had a job when I was totally strung out, and I got a job in Jamaica. And I think I brought 3 bundles to Jamaica, and I figured I was, trying to figure out how I could survive in Jamaica until it ran out. And of course it ran out, before I left Jamaica, and I wound up like going down the beach looking for heroin in Jamaica. I couldn't find any heroin. I wound up getting a bunch of Valium, and I ate a shit ton of Valium, and I was basically on my back and sick as fuck on the plane home, run to the dealer. Did you make it through your Puerto Rican journey without getting sick?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But it was with
You're better than me.
It was with great thought. Yeah, I'll tell you another story though. I get paid. So I go up and I get 5 fucking bundles.
Where'd you get the bundles?
Up in Harlem.
Were they stamped?
On the west side.
You remember any stamps?
Oh yeah, I was doing junk so long, it was, you got the shit, there was no stamps on it, just a glassine envelope. But like everything else, just like in AA, you got to know who the winners are. It's the same thing when you're copping drugs. Everybody got the good shit. So you got to ask questions.
Where's it coming from?
Who got the good shit? And if there was a guy fucking laying on the fucking stoop and he was dead, I'd step right over him to get that shit. That's proof positive.
So you went and you bought 5 bundles.
Mm-hmm. I had enough to squeeze off and hold me over for the plane ride till I got home. Moderation, one of the few times I could moderate. You know what I mean? Because I knew I had to make it last. It's either that or be dope sick.
I got sick. But you were about to tell me a story and I interrupted you.
It couldn't have been that good because
it started with buying 5 bundles in the spot because I told you that Jamaica story and I asked you how you survived the Puerto Rico trip without running out. And
So I'm down there with an Irish barmaid, right? And she's drunk by fucking 7, 8 o'clock every night. Every night. So it's the Pan Am Games, 1979. Now I'm in Puerto Rico, down on the main drag on Ashford Avenue. I go down to the hotel bar, broads there, I know she's tricking, she's working the Pan Am Games. And they were all from Minnesota. White broads from Minnesota worked the Pan Am Game for extra hookers. So they spoke English, they looked, So I says, listen, I get you a drink, but I'm not looking to get laid. I'm not a John, blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know, I fall in with the hookers. Come on, we're going down to Old San Juan, jump in the cab with us. You got 4, 5, 6 nice-looking women there working their job. You're not partaking in it. They show me the after hours right across the street from my hotel, the original La Concha, because they opened it up for the Pan Am Games. I'm in there. It's 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget this. The song on playing was "It's Raining Men." I'm out there, couple of broads, couple of the hookers now, their job's done, they're in the after hours, and the fucking barmaid comes in, and the one girl looks at me and goes, "What's the matter? Your wife just walked in?" I go, "Yeah." You know what I mean? I got so many stories. I mean, I was talking about
This is why I needed you to come on the show, because I knew that there was a treasure trove of great stories.
I was talking about La Perla. So I'm down there, and it's the fucking ghetto. The cops don't even go down. When I first went to Puerto Rico, there was a cop car at the top of the entrance to La Perla. If you weren't a resident, you weren't getting down there because they didn't want tourists down there. But I fall in with all the fucking knuckleheads, right? So I'm down there, and I was already forewarned. They tell you, put your fucking cell phone away. You put your cell phone away. Now, this is even before cell phones. You put your fucking camera away. If they tell you, and you don't have to understand fucking Spanish at all, put your fucking shirt on, you're disrespecting the women because that's how they think. Put your shirt on. You put your shirt on. And if you don't adhere to their rules, they police their own state there. So much so, cops don't go down there unless there's 200 of them and they got an armored vehicle leading the parade. And this is the truth. It's lightened up, but you always see tourists killed in La Perla. Well, he was down there doing no fucking good. What are you down there 6 a.m. for? Looking for a sandwich? You know, but they tell him, no camera, put your phone away, not over here. And it's it's the most picturesque fucking part of the seashore in fucking San Juan. And it's a fucking ghetto. But I've been down there midnight now going to hear music because I'm hooked in and they know I'm who I am.
So you would go to Puerto Rico back when you were using, and you still go when you're sober.
Oh.
When you go back to Queens in that period and you start selling coke, you're never like kingpinning in the neighborhood. Are you just basic, or are you kingpinning in the neighborhood?
No, I'm not a kingpin. I'm low level.
To keep your dope habit up, I'm imagining.
To keep everything up, you know, the facade, you know, the clothes, the fucking rap, and listen to the music and the fucking tall-legged blonde and all that shit. I would be sitting in this bar, right? Irish bar, everybody's white. A lot of coke, ba, ba, ba. You'd be here, I'd be here, and a customer would come in here. Now, you're the fucking Colombian dope dealer. Should you get me some coke? Yeah. How much? $80, $100, whatever. You know, you want an 8-ball, it's fucking $160, whatever it was at the time. And I would just take the money. Guy would give me the money. I'd give the money to the guy next to me who was the dealer. He would give me the product and I'd give it back. I was making money drinking. Now, both guys would buy me a drink because one I purchased for and the other guy I made a sale for. And I'd get a piece of each their coke. I'm not even using it. So now I got a fucking bag of coke like this by the end of the day. You know what I mean? Yeah, go in the bathroom. Broads, you know.
And you're not using the coke.
And
so
I'm not
are you
using
trading the coke? Are you selling the coke at that point?
I'm selling the coke. I mean.
And is your dope habit getting out of control at that point?
Yeah, but I don't think it is. You know what I mean? Now, one of my best friends was this guy, T. And there's only 2 guys. My grandfather was old, and he was very Irish, and he was very Americanized, God and country, and fucking go for the underdog and all that shit, and highly religious. There was only 2 guys out of the hundreds that came through my house that he would say, break out the Irish whiskey. One of them was T. Small, who was my dope dealer and friend. And the other one was Johnny Schwimmer, who I was fucking this big. I still know him. I still talk to him at least once a week. I could come home, and if either one of them rang the bell and he saw who, they'd be sitting there when I got there. And a matter of fact, I was talking with T just the other day. You know, he's gone to that place in the sky. And I was talking to him and thanking him, you know, for the shit he showed me. He put me to work when I was a junkie, let me rob his newsstand and knew about it. And
did you work the newsstand?
yeah.
And you would just be able to take
in Port Authority, no cash register. You don't have time for cash.
Right.
Fucking commuters going in and out. You're in Port Authority, New York City. Low lifes are there. You got to watch the fucking mirrors because they're watching the magazines and whatever little bag of chips. Or something.
It's like hell in the moment. But when I hear you mention a newsstand in Port Authority in whatever year that was, what year do you think that was?
Probably 70.
It's
71.
like it's like heaven, right? It's like a place that doesn't exist anymore.
Now you know the fucking Port Authority cops. You understand? You know the fucking lowlifes. You know the people that fucking got money because they're purchasing their fucking newspaper. Everybody read a newspaper then. There were no cell phones. But he used to allow me to rob because I didn't rob too much and better me than somebody else because he liked me. I only got great stories for him. I got him over in Woodside. We're in a fucking rocket fuel fucking Irish bar, music blasting, fucking live bands, you know what I mean? Tony Williams and the Platters are there, you know, different strokes for different folks. The neighborhood guys are there, you know, hip bands that fucking nobody knows about were in there. And they'll find out about them later. And T's holding court. And he turns to Schwimmer and he goes, you know, I feel like a fucking marshmallow in a fucking hot chocolate. And it was the truth. He's the only black guy in there, but they're accepting him for who he is, or maybe because he's with me and he's got my boys fucking got his back. He knows that. And I knew when I went up to Lenox Avenue, he had my back. I mean, oh God, I used to have such fun.
He was a heroin connection?
Yeah, but a good friend of mine. He became my connection. He's the one who, he goes, you get in the fucking habit. Don't you see this?
And what would you say?
I'm not getting the habit. Yeah, that's what I would say. You get in the fucking habit, man. Don't.
When was the first time you had to kick or you couldn't score?
It was very rare I couldn't score.
How did you keep it up? Because I
smoking mirrors.
Spit and
not
gum.
literally, but
no, I know, I get it.
You know what I mean? Like I think I was laughing with you the other day. It's the fucking middle of winter. I'm at that beach bums meeting on a fucking Sunday. The fucking wind is howling, the wind chill factor. I'm freezing my fucking balls off. The last time I stayed in one spot for an hour under those conditions, I was fucking copping heroin up on the fucking east side of Manhattan, Spanish Harlem.
Waiting.
Yes. Still for 1 hour. So literally, I was copping what I fucking needed. My spirituality. The fucking look in that guy's eyes, you know. So I would go to any means necessary to get a drink and a drug, and I go to any means necessary to keep my sobriety.
No, I feel like that whenever I'm at that beach and it's a storm or it's freezing or I always think about the places I would find myself in the worst conditions. Like I would score in Bushwick in the winter, and I remember snow drifts and waiting in bodegas and weird fucking situations. But when do you find that like it's getting bad enough to feel like Veritas Villa is something you need to do? Like, is that even on the horizon? Like, when did you not know about 12-step until you were in Veritas Villa?
I was in and out of AA for 13 years.
When was that?
Before I went to the Villa.
When do you first show up? Like When does it start being like, oh shit, this could be a problem?
Oh, it was a problem. It didn't just, oh, this could be a problem. It was a problem. It was a fucking full-time job. Know that I had to go into my job and rob them in there, whether it was time, Mongo, fucking...
What's Mongo?
Copper's very big. Mongo's, what you bring to the fucking junk man. So on overtime, mind you, we'd be stealing fucking Mongo.
Explain that to me.
So you got piping.
Okay.
There's copper pipe. Copper is so much a pound. So we just cut it. The wire inside, you got a fucking big thick wire. There's coils of fucking copper there. So you strip the fucking rubber off and goes into the Mongo.
That's the Mongo.
That's the Mongo. And that was for our Christmas party and our spending money, depending on how much you gave towards the Christmas party, the building, and how much you kept for yourself.
And where would you get all this copper wiring in Mongo?
Because they do build outs, they're wrecking 3 floors. This company's moving out and a new company's coming in. So they got to rip down all the old shit, the insulation, the piping, the fucking Mongo, which would be copper.
And that's also New York City in that time period where it's switching between eras and there's all sorts of demolition and construction. And
every man, Manhattan's like a fucking drug. And if you were born and raised there, I'm out here. I've become accustomed. I didn't go to Fire Island this year, 20-minute boat ride. I was out east maybe 3 times. I was in the city fucking a dozen.
You were also, though, I think you were in, where were you this summer? Ireland or?
That was last year. I just got back around this time.
Where did you go? Where did you go this year?
I figured my first trip there, I better go to the Celtic country since I'm Irish. So I went to Scotland, Wales, and Ireland.
This summer, though, didn't you go someplace at the beginning of the summer? I thought you did.
No.
I didn't go to Sailor's Haven one time this summer, and it's like the greatest place in the world, but I had never been to Ocean Beach before. And my family went to Ocean Beach on Fire Island. Have you ever been there?
No.
It's incredible. Take Veronica, go to Ocean Beach. It's like fucking paradise. It's crazy. You take the ferry from Bayshore. It's amazing.
Now, here's how fucking AA works. I go over there and I'm in Glasgow, Scotland, and this woman befriends me. Age appropriate, I'm not looking to get in the pants. And now she comes and visits in the fall back here with her 2 grandkids, a son and a daughter. The grandson's like 17, the daughter's 20. So the girl is a girl, she wants to go into all the shops. The boy's all right, right? Now I got a guy who's a sponsee from Glasgow, lives here. He's going over there. I hooked the 2 of them up because he's new in recovery, but now I got a connection there. I can be talking in the same day to one of the greats of American theater in New York, Glasgow, Galway, and Puerto Rico.
Well, do you remember?
This is a fucking lowlife.
Do you remember when I was going to Chicago to record with that guy Tim Kelly who died? And who did you know out there?
Billy.
Yeah. It's just crazy, the connections. I don't want to lose that. There was a story you alluded to about heroin in Puerto Rico. Does that ring any bells? Some like huge amount of I don't remember the story. I didn't ask you, but I figured this is a good venue for it.
No, I can't remember. I have so many stories. I can't remember what I go in the fucking room for.
Me neither. I understand.
But I can remember 50 years ago, but I can't bring this one up to.
Tell me about the end. Like you said, you were in and out of the rooms for 13 years. What brought you to the rooms the first time before Veritas Villa?
My sister, because I seen her getting better.
Was she a junkie?
She was a garbage head.
Okay.
But she deplored. she poo-pooed the fucking heroin. Anything else that fuck would take, you know what I mean? Second alls, two and alls, you know. She's one of them ones. She blames me because we walked over the 59th Street Bridge, her and the twin sister and my brother, and I turned them on to pot for her drug addiction. You motherfucker, you know what I mean? I haven't said a word to her in 20 years. My other sister found Jesus Christ and got sober, and my brother's a gay man, and he's got 30 years.
Amazing. So how does your sister turn you on to AA then?
Because she was my favorite one, and I seen it working for her. She said, maybe you want to get some help. Now she's still out there.
But you wind up going, and
I wind up going, and you know, you dot the I's, you cross the T's, but you're not really
in it.
You know, in the back of your head, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6, 7 months, and boom. I was going to a meeting, and I'm early. So I look across the street. The two guys outside got their coffee. They're smoking a cigarette. I look at them. I don't like them motherfuckers. So I walk up to Queens Boulevard. I go in the bodega, get 2 pints of Budweiser, hail a cab, and go over to fucking Brooklyn and Comp. Knickerbocker Park. Get 5 bags. I know I'm shooting 3, but I'm going to have a hangover. So I got 2 for the morning. Just because I didn't like the guys. So any excuse to use, you know what I mean? Never mind, you know, I lost a loved one or I lost my job. I drank and drugged, whether the Yankees won or lost, whether I got a job or I lost a job, whether I got laid, I didn't get laid, whether it was a birth or a fucking death. I just drank.
So what made it change? Like what sent you to Veritas Villa? Because it sounds like that was the big turning point.
Divine intervention through who is now the president of my local.
Oh yeah. You had the needle in your shirt.
So I and they told me, you're going away while we can still cover you medically. If you ever want to work in this union.
What was the union?
Local 94 operating engineers.
What were you working on?
I was a superintendent, so to speak, for a commercial space in any downtown, midtown, uptown, anyone. The windows don't open. My whole job was to keep you at, let's say, 70 degrees every day of the year.
Okay. And meanwhile, you're getting high at work. You're shooting dope at work.
I'm fucking going up to the roof, smoking a joint, fucking going up to lunch because it's fucking a half hour each way, and fucking I can get back in plenty of time to be ready for the fucking afternoon.
Where were your places to cop in New York? Obviously Harlem, you said.
Harlem on the west side up around 135th. That's where my boy lives. So I didn't have to cop. I just meet him over the house, and he was wheeling and dealing. He worked for Nicky Barnes.
No way.
Back in the day.
Was that Blue Magic or whatever? That was in the movie?
This is when there was no fucking name or nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I cop over in Brooklyn on the south side. I cop in the Bronx. I cop the hot city up on 110th. I'd get off at that train station anyway. I remember one day I was up there and I put the kid in my ex-wife's a Colombian. My daughter's a half-breed. I call her a CIA baby, Colombian, Irish, American, tit ass and attitude. But she's a good kid. The mother done a good job. So they're sitting in a restaurant, you know, sandwich shop, and they're looking where I'm going to cop right across the street in the projects. And this kid comes out, and there's fucking grown men like me and you there. You know what I mean? The kid says, sit the fuck down or nobody's getting served. Like we're fucking dogs, trained animals. Grown men, sit down.
Of course.
Now I get back across the street, and my wife gives me some shit. That fucking kid told you to sit like a fucking dog, and you listen to him. But that still wasn't enough.
And she didn't use, though, your wife.
She didn't use. You know, she didn't use.
So you are using regularly. You have needles in your work shirt. You take them out, somebody sees it, and they fucking divinely intervene.
And that's divine
Save your
intervention.
fucking life.
That's divine intervention for me. I remember the guy who's now the president of my local just rubbed my head as he walked out the door. Now, here's a story. They send the van from Veritas Villa that makes stops in the city to bring you upstate.
Right.
To Cahanson, right? So I look, I'm 5-room railroad flat. I look out the front window down to Skillman Avenue. The van's there. I heard the guy ringing a bell. I see him standing outside. I yelled, I'll be down in 2 minutes. So I squeeze off a couple of bags of dope that I have left. I go downstairs. I got my little ditty bag. He goes, here, give me the bag. He throws it in the back. He says, get in the car. I said, I can't get in the car. I said, you got to promise me we're going to get a 6-pack and some cigarettes. So he goes, oh, no. I said, well, then I'm not getting in the car, and I go to get my bag. He acquiesces. I get a 6-pack of pints. Cahanson, couple-hour drive. So he goes, well, we're getting to the fucking detox because they're going to drop me off at a hospital first. You got to detox. So I says, yeah, all right. He says, you got to finish up them beers and clean the place up. So I finished the last mouthful of the fucking pint. I got a cigarette in my mouth. I roll down the window. I reach over to get the fucking brown bag and make like I'm throwing it out. He goes, no, you can't. We're on the highway, right? On the thruway. You see, I said, no, I'm just fucking with you. I know that. I put it back down. I get there. I got 2 Xanax sticks. I take them. The hospital has a nice woman there with like a fucking A-frame, and she's selling spiritual shit. It's a Catholic fucking church, a Catholic fucking facility, I guess. So there's, rosaries and this and that. I rifle every fucking thing I can get off of her. I stick it in my bag. After being in Veritas Villa, I told that same driver, do me a favor, bring this shit back to the woman.
Nice.
That was part of my
Return,
journey.
Yes.
But the first 2 weeks I was there, I fought it. The next 2 weeks I was there, I was cool.
How long were you there?
You were supposed to be there 30 days. So one of the counselors said, listen, a fucking 15-15 tie isn't any good. 14-14 tie, whatever. You alluded to football. He says, it isn't any good. So I stayed an extra day after wanting to get out for my birthday. I stayed an extra day to fucking be a winner.
When's your birthday?
June 21st.
Nice. So you leave there, and how long before, because you're one of my favorite people to listen to at a meeting. I love it when you talk recovery, but I imagine you leave Veritas Villa and you're not Johnny Mack, fucking 12-step superstar. You're fucking 30 days.
I got a couple of things to say on that. The best advice I got from anybody up there was you stand a half-ass chance if you run to a meeting. And I've been running to meetings ever since. You can say what you want. Oh, meeting makers just make meetings. No, they don't, motherfucker. They make a half a dozen steps and 2 traditions every day. And they come to believe.
What do you mean by that? They make a half a dozen steps and 2 traditions every day. They do 1.
The first 3
they
steps. They
do 12. They do 2, 3, right?
The first 3 steps, you come to believe. All right? Now, if you're sharing open and honestly, doesn't that sound a little like a confession in 4 and 5? If you're sharing with this, you don't need big words. You don't need scripture. You don't need to tell them what page it's on. If you're sharing with this, that drunk knows. So now you got 1, 2, 3. Let's go to 5. Okay? You come to believe. In that 3rd step, whose will you fucking doing in there? Yours, mine, the girl next to me? You're doing God's will and you don't even know it. All right? Now, amends. I'm making amends to myself, and the entire free world's a safer place with me in there, with you inside. That's amends right there. Oh, you didn't say your mother jumping prayers? Did we end with a prayer? Oh.
You got a prayer in.
Now, the simple fact that I'm there is part of the 12th step.
Absolutely.
That simple fact, if for no other reason, that fucking guy got 26 years. He's still coming. I'm not as stupid as I look. It works. I got $1 for the basket, and I got $1 in desire to stop drinking. Is that a couple of traditions? So would you say I touched on 6 steps and 2 traditions?
How long does it take, and do your best to answer this because it's a very vague, weird question. How long does it take when you leave Veritas Villa to really get acclimated to being in program?
A long time. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. I just thank God every day I was stupid enough not to drink and keep my ass in that chair.
Well, did you buy in quickly?
No, I didn't believe happy horse shit. Pray for your fucking, pray for him, pray that he fucking dies. You know?
So how did it start sinking in for you? And where were you going? What was did you have a 7-day-a-week group when you got out, or were you just going around the city?
I went to meetings every day, sometimes 2. I wasn't working the first year, full time back in my union. I'd get different work, hanging sheet rock up in fucking the hospital, up, old age home. I would get certain things, but I wouldn't, I'd shape the fucking movers union. I'd shape the Coliseum back in the day. Now it's the Javits Center. I bartended half a fucking day here, if somebody was throwing a party and they needed, not bartending behind the bar, a luncheon or
just
something like that.
Picking up gigs.
Picking up money. I'm on welfare, you know what I mean? I squandered through the first part of my annuity money. I took it out. I was out a year, but I was back in, so I was rebuilding it. It took me a while.
How fast did you get a sponsor?
Oh, I got a sponsor right away.
What was your first sponsor like? Or did you how many sponsors have you had? Just one?
Yeah.
What was he like?
I used to cop dope for him. He's a little younger than me, a year or 2 younger than me. He was a court officer. His brother's a fucking retired lieutenant. It's where I get some of my PBA cards. But it's a program of attraction. I used to get high with this guy, and now I see where he's at. So that was the attraction. And he was a sharp guy. He says, I'm about 8, 9 months. I said, when are we going to get busy on this 4 and 5? He goes, what the fuck you think I've been doing the last 9, 10 months? He's listening to me. I'm telling him shit I was going to take to the grave with me. So he tells me one day, he says, man, you spend a lot of time in church, don't you? I says, well, the fucking meeting's downstairs. I go upstairs, or if I pass by a place I like, I don't care if it's a mosque, a fucking temple, a fucking synagogue, a fucking...
Whatever
God's there. It's warm in the winter, cool in the summer. Let me go in and waste some time. And everybody knows you don't waste time with God. That's what fucking everybody, meditation, incense, peppermint, mood music. No, you're just wasting time with God. And even an idiot knows you don't waste time with God. He don't speak to me in a booming voice. It's my mind. And,
We have a ton of listeners who are not sober. We have a ton of listeners who are in and out. And we have a ton of listeners who are resistant to God, 12-step, whatever. What do you suggest somebody who is struggling out there do? And if they're resistant to, they don't want to go to a meeting, what do you tell them?
Do what you always did and you get what you always got. That's what I tell them. It's the first one that gets you drunk. It's the first one that gets you high. The only thing you got to know about God is there is one and you're not it. So stop playing God. Look where it got you. You're in a fucking rehab. You're in a jail. You're reluctant to change. I want to be happy, joyous, and free. Now, it would make me happy. It would make me joyous, but I was never free. Now I'm free to do anything I want. Talk to you, do the interview, have another cup of coffee. I don't run for buses. I don't run from the cops. I don't fucking run. I walk. Take the stairs. It's easier. Oh, the steps. The highway to heaven. Ooh, ooh. I don't even know if there's a fucking heaven. I really don't. I don't know if there's a God. But the simple fact that I believe there is one and it makes my life easier, I'll just fantasize with that for the rest of my life. It's working. If it ain't fucking broke, why fix it? You know?
Is there anything else you want to say before we're done? Because this was great, by the way.
Okay.
I was worried you weren't going to give up the goods for a second there.
No. I'm trying to save my fucking self. You know what I mean?
Can you think also, before you even say that, let me ask you this. Go through the memory banks as best you can. Is there any ridiculous drug story that's better than all the drug stories you told that you forgot to tell? Because these are golden.
It'll probably come to me after you leave.
Of course.
Look, I've been arrested. I've been shot out by the cops and the bad guys. I've been ripped off. I've ripped people off. And I kept doing what the fuck I was doing. If that's not insanity, I don't know what is. You know, and it tells you every AA meeting's an assurance that God may restore you to sanity. And then the punchline is if you rightly relate yourself to him. So take your will and do what the fuck you want. Or hand it over, surrender, and do what you think God might want you to do. I play a little game with myself that God's sitting between us. So when I want to tell a motherfucker what I think, would I do that in front of God? When telling that little lie would make my life a whole lot easier, would I want to lie in front of God? It's silly, but that's God's will for me. How he delivers his message and how he gets me to do it, that's my business. So I'm stupid enough not to drink, go to meetings, say my mother jumping prayers, and to guarantee my sobriety. I work with another alcoholic. They talk about, the 10-pound phone for newcomers. Well, motherfucker, when you got as much time as me, which is only today, but I accumulated a lot of days together, that fucking pound is fucking 50 pounds. I don't even look to see who it is. You think I want to answer and listen to this fucking happy horse shit? But if somebody didn't listen to me,
where would we be?
Where would I be? And it's a gift from God that you have the ability to listen. I had 2 good ears, but I didn't listen. Now I listen, simple directions, do what the other monkeys do and you'll get your back scratched too. Don't drink. You can't get drunk. Go to meetings.
You know what you didn't say during this talk is jamoke.
Yeah.
Normally you talk about...
Hey, all you jamokes out here who don't think you could get it, stop praying to God and ask him.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you, man.
All right? I love you.
I love you too. It's super fun.